How in the hell is it already Wednesday at 7 o'clock? I have no idea. One show ends, the next one begins. I have no time, but I love it. I told you that this was the week that they were going to be like, no one's playing DFS because the field sucks. It doesn't matter. DraftKings. I'm not even talking about FanDuel. They're lost. But like this, I'm telling you, PGA DFS is growing. It is the best sport out there. Hey, new guy, look at me. It is the best DFS sport out there. I swear by it. It is the best burn. It is not overwhelming. It is perfect. I'm not promising you that you're going to win at it, but I'll promise you this. It's fun as shit. What's up, new guys that I'm already talking to? My name's James, better known as the Degenerate75, a former DFS pro turned professional shit talker who is here to help you get a little bit better at PGA DFS. If you don't know, this should be tough, and I want to help you get better, not with my core picks and plays and that silly nonsense, but trying to teach you the process, give you a good foundation of useful, relevant knowledge so that you can then build your process on top of it. Not my process, your process, new guy. If that sounds interesting, hang around for the next hour. Make sure you hit the like. Drop a question in the chat. More than 2, I'll boot your ass, the new guys. We don't fuck around with new guys around here. Short leash. If you really find you like the cut of my jib, check out that schedule. I do this show every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. That's in the Lord's time zone. Of course, I am the founder of the Showdown Hoedown, which I do every Friday and Saturday night for round 3 and round 4 Showdown. And every Monday over on the Ship It Station, me and Tambo do a first look show reacting to the prices, all right? Enough about me. Let's make this about you. More than that, let's make it about golf this week, you motherfathers. Yes, I have a sponsor because a lot of people win money that follow me, and they want to give me money, and I'm not going to take your fucking money, all right? I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it. If you want to sponsor a giveaway, that's the one thing I'll let you do. My dude Cat is giving away a $100 single entry and a couple $20 tickets for everybody who wins the drawing tonight. This will be for the people from Twitter, but to get in the other drawing, simply ask up to 2 questions in the chat, and we will draw you at the end, okay? You also need to know the big guy has a problem saying fuck, all right? And every time I do, I'm going to put some money up there in that F counter. I'm trying to get better at it. Let me tell you, I'm not doing very good, pal. Not doing very good at all. And last week, I played Sean and Monica, and he forgot to send me the weekly one because he's a donkey dick, but we ended up just playing Showdown. And what do you think, Teddy?
Pay that man his money.
I think so, Teddy. I think you beat me fair and square. Sean, you beat me. We can build a ticket on me, or I'll PayPal you the money once again. Big guy, not a poor. That's what you need to know. All right. Very simple question. It is time to get this show rolling. Already 330 people in here. You guys, look at you guys just setting your Wednesday nights to the schedule. Appreciate every single one of you motherfathers. Here you go, all you new guys. None of you veterans answer this. The new guys will hear you, and then they'll just jump in and act like they're smart. Have you made your lineup yet? You have, new guys. I know you. You know how I know you have? Because all the fucking contests are full. That's how I know you have. Right? You're over there and you're like, oh, man, I got to get in these contests. You can reserve them. You don't have to build your lineups. Just go hit reserve entry. You don't have to build the lineups. New guy. Figure it out. Figure it out, new guys. All right. I love the new guys. I'm trying to get more new guys into this space. I don't want to just pass around the same fucking morons that everybody else in this industry does. All right. I want new guys. I want fresh blood into this industry. People want to learn the game. All right. That's what I'm trying to do here. Okay. Anyways. If you're looking at this and you're like, hey, man, where the hell's all them contests? A good question. Quit talking like that. Here's the answer. DraftKings thought, hey, man, instead of putting out a properly sized contest this week, hear me out. No, hear me out, Jim. One's if we just put out really small contests that will all fill 16 hours before lock, and then Wednesday night when everybody goes to reserve their lineups, there won't be shit there for them. Very good, DraftKings. You got there. It's a bold strategy as a corporation trying to earn a profit, but you do you, boo. Now all the contests are full. What's left to play in? Some secondary slapdick shit? I mean, there's nothing good left, right? My $10 18 nope, that's not even my $10 18 max. That's the resurgence. I mean, there ain't shit left, Bob. If you didn't reserve your lineups, you didn't kick yourself in the nuts. DraftKings did, right? I was going to spam 150 lineups this week, and then when I went to reserve them, they were gone. Don't take an afternoon nap on a Wednesday, or poof, all the contests are gone. So what contests are left to play in? Well, at this point, if you're not in one, I guess the resurgence is okay. The $6 tee to green is okay. Is this a third drive the green they've already put up? This is the third $5 they've already put up. The primary and the secondary have filled before my show has even started. DraftKings, what the fuck? God, be better. You know, every time I try to be like, I'm going to be nicer to them, they do some shit like this. All right. So, Once again, guys, this is what you need to do. You need to be like doing your daily missions, right? And reserving lineups. And I'm telling you, just Wednesday morning, start reserving everything you're going to want to play for that week. Because DraftKings is just going, if they keep putting out well-structured contests like they did this week, they're going to fill. What they do is they normally put out shitty contests and they don't fill till late Wednesday night. But because they put out a well-structured $20, a well-structured $5, that shit filled up fast. And they made them too small because people love PGA DFS. They don't just love PGA DFS because, ooh, Max Homa's playing. No one gives a shit that Max Homa's playing, okay? People love PGA DFS. Max Homa's just a little tiny bonus, right? A little tiny miscut. So there you go. That's contest selection. I'm sorry, guys. There ain't nothing to say. This is on DraftKings. I do got something to tell you about these contests, though. We are tracking this shit. And over here, this is the cumulative total. We're now 7 tournaments deep, right? And I want you to look at that main $20 tournament. We got the guys who play 1 entry in it, 2 to 5, 6 to 20, 21 to 50, 51 to 49, and the 150 maxers. Do you know what all 6 of those groups have in common? All of them are negative ROI on the year. Every single one of those groups. And look at this. These 2 through 5 guys have actually won 3 of the 7 weeks. Just a guy just being like, I got a dream this week that I'm going to win. Okay, whatever, dumbass. And clearly, 3 dumbasses have got there. So kudos to you, bro. But here's what even with that is still a group that is negative ROI for the year, okay? And I know you think you're going to be that guy. You're not going to be that guy, pal. Okay? That's fine. You blow your money however you want, but don't bitch like, oh, you can't win a DraftKings. I'm just a deposit king. It's because you're playing contests like this. Look at the big $5. Much better structure, right? Every single group for the year has a negative ROI. Okay, this is what I'm trying to tell you. The bigger these contests you're in, the bigger the lotteries are, they get so top-heavy. To literally, I do the math for you every round 4 showdown. We're like, if you don't finish in the top 6 of one of those tournaments, you're not even guaranteed to break even. Not win, break even. A 6 out of like 25,000 people. What are we doing? This is the real blessing today might be that all those contests are full and you might actually go get in some well-structured contests with like less than 5,000 people in it and actually have a chance to win those. That might be the real hidden value here, right? So there you go. I'm just going to keep harping on this. For all of you that love to play the lottery, I get it. But if you feel like you can never, ever, 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 ever win at PGA DFS and you only play the lotteries, just know it's not you, it's everybody. You don't suck. Those tournaments suck. They're not good. Okay, and especially if you're one of those guys that just does one lineup. I got a feeling about this one lineup. Literally, go play the Powerball. Go play Powerball. It's the same thing. No, because I get to pick my golfers. No, that's no different than grandma being like, oh, I picked my lucky numbers. It's my grandson's birthday and my wedding anniversary. Those are my 6 lucky numbers. It doesn't give you any edge. You don't know what you're doing. You're just picking 6 assholes, and they're probably chalky, so you really don't even have a chance to win. Goodness gracious, I'm trying to help you, new guy, and putting a couple lineups in the big lotteries, you've already lost before you even started. Well, what about those 3 guys? Okay, look, out of 60,000 entries, 3 of them have won. If you think that's you go right on ahead, pal, okay? And then you should also go play the Powerball, you donkey dick. But, of course, the one contest you should be in is mine. Go get in. It's a $5 5 max. Editor is going to put it right here in the chat. Go fill it up for me. Only 1,000 people this week. The host was like, hey, I don't know if it's going to be as popular this week. See, it was common around DraftKings this week. And I said, okay, I guess we'll do 1,000. But get it filled. Let's make him look like a donkey dick. Moving on to the next thing. Who won it last week? Doink, flying the old showdown, hoedown / ship it flag. You love to see it. Andy won, and I'm pretty sure my boy Doink won a Fantasy Golf World Championship ticket. Doink, you are the man. Way to doink one, all right? New guy, chance at redemption. Second question, what is the most important thing at PGA DFS? And the first thing that we always check. Go ahead, new guy. Nope, it's not ownership. That was a good guess, though, new guy. Guy in the back was screaming it. He knew it. It's weather. Good job, guy in the back. You're going to get a hot dog later. All right. So here's the weather. If you don't know, they're down on the west coast of Mexico, okay, down in Puerto Vallarta, and it's really beautiful. It's like a resort course, okay? And the nice thing about these resort courses is you tend to get very consistent weather. As you can see, because this is not in America, we will not be using We will be using Eric Cole Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Every Country Makes Weather Forecast for our weather projections today. And as you can see, the weather just looks absolutely perfect the first 2 days. It's going to start out in the mid-60s, heat up to the mid-80s with some light breezes in the afternoon. Friday looks the exact same. Saturday looks the exact same. And you'll never believe this. Sunday looks the exact same. Fucking shocking. Shocking. Just absolutely shocking. So what are we going to draw from this? Well, here's the answer. If we're here for a week-long show right now, right? We're talking week-long. Now, if we were talking Showdown, I'd have bunch of thoughts for you. But we're not here to talk Showdown. I do that for my members over at Ship It, okay? But for week long, you're not going to catch an edge, okay? Because, look, there's going to be one wave will probably play a full stroke better on Thursday, but then on Friday, it'll turn around and be a full stroke the other way. I guarantee you this will almost be within a quarter stroke. You're not going to catch a week-long weather edge. Now, I will say this, and this is something that we measured all of last year. When all things are equal, especially when it comes to slapdicks making the cuts, there is a slight edge to playing PM AM guys, okay? So, like, if you have a $6,200 guy, Carl Jung probably because you're a donkey, and you want to play him, I would say that he has a slightly better chance of making the cut if he's in the PM AM because you always want your guy to not be out in tough conditions or tougher conditions on a Friday afternoon when they could be out there Friday morning boat racing, okay? So that would be the only thing I really have for you for weather. You're going to get incredibly consistent weather. I will tell you one thing that I was seeing a lot on Twitter is this course is noticeably softer than it's been in the past. I think that's going to be not only in the fairways, but on the greens. These greens are notoriously firm, and I think you might see more like medium level firmness this week, so maybe they're going to be able to stick those 5 irons a lot more. But more than that, on the fairways, whenever you have a soft fairway, I think that means that these courses, because you got to remember, they played this in April and May last time. Now they're playing it in February. And so because of that, I think driving distance, carry distance is going to be even more important, right? And if you don't understand the difference between driving distance and carrying distance, well, driving distance means you hit the ball 280 yards and it runs another 50. That's a 330-yard drive. Carry distance is where it lands, because I don't think there's going to be a ton of run out on these fairways. So guys who can bomb it in the air, I do think become a little bit more valuable now. But I will be the one guy who will die on the hill that this is more about your second shot. It is going to be how good are you 175 plus, more so than how good you are off the tee. Preferably be good at both, but if I could only pick one, I would choose that second one, okay? So that's what we're doing with the weather. It's going to be incredibly consistent weather. The good thing is I think that is going to lead to an edge at Showdown. So if you're a Showdown guy, come join me, all right? For all of you that like, oh, man, you spend way too much time talking about weather. That shit doesn't matter. Okay, well, we're checking it. Last week, nailed the weather edge. 3/4 of a stroke advantage to the wave that I said would probably be in the better spot, and they were. And just look, like, of the guys who made it from 7,500 and below, 61% of them were from the good wave, only 38% from the bad wave. On the for the guys over a 9,000, it actually went the other way because good players all the time, it doesn't matter, right? And overall, just the golfers from the better wave, 56% to 44%. If you don't think a 12% edge is a big deal at making the cut, well, you're a dipshit, okay? This is why we spend so much time on the weather. We have all the season-long data over here. It's something that you always want to be tracking. Sadly, this week with it being a resort course, we're not going to get much of an edge, I don't think, right? Speaking of which, let's talk ownership, right? I do this thing called pivoting. Really, I think that it comes down to PGA DFS is this, the art of the pivot. When to pivot and when not to pivot, all right? A lot of times you'll find that you could have played this guy, you could have played this guy, and it's essentially 50-50 if you should have played him. Problem is, this guy was 30% owned and this guy was 10% owned. And if you're a new guy and you don't get this, if these two guys have an equal opportunity to do well, but this guy's 3 times the ownership of this guy, you should literally play this guy probably almost every single time. Oh, in a game theory aspect, you should play him almost every single time, yet people don't. So what we're doing here is we're tracking and seeing, do the chalky guys actually get there enough to justify their chalkiness, or are the pivots where it's at? And for all of you like, man, I'm so tired of the pivots never getting there. Oh, the chalk always gets there. Roar, 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 roar. Okay, let's look at the data. Last week, Scotty Scheffner got outperformed by 2 of his 4 pivots. Justin Thomas got outperformed by all 8 of his pivots. If you played anybody around him, you did better than I'll slapdick Justin Thomas. Adam Scott got outperformed by 4 of his 8. The Hogard got outperformed by 7 of his 8 pivots, and Kurt Kitayama. These were the high ownership guys from each range, right? An 11, a 9, an 8, a 7, and a 6, right? And he got outperformed by 5 of the 8. Here's what's really telling. Now we're starting to get some real season-long data, and you can see the pivots in 3 of the 5 ranges are now outperforming the chalk. We put this up here every week, and we're now taking a large sample, so you can't just say, well, that was just a lucky one-off. We're taking big groups of 8 every week, so we're getting a real feel for the whole range and who's doing better. And even where the chalk is outperforming, right? Like here in the 7K range, they are outperforming them 51 to 49, right? You're like, see? So the chalk is doing better. Yeah, but you're playing those guys at 18%. The pivots are averaging 6.8%. They would need to be performing them almost 3x, and they're beating them by 1%. So the point being, outside of up high, and up high it's basically now even. Literally every time you would be better playing the pivot in the long run, right? Am I telling you to pivot everywhere? No. But the key is, if you're so scared and you always play the chalk, this is why you're a losing player. You have to learn the art of the pivot. You have to know when to pivot, who to pivot off of, and you have to be willing to do it. If you're a guy that gets so scared you just always end up playing the chalk, well, you can see those guys that make those 1 or 2 pivots are going to be beating your ass in the long run, because not only are those guys outperforming your chalky guys, but they're also getting them in the much lower ownership, and they're not sharing all those points with thousands of people in the field. You've got to learn to play the game and get the fuck away from your picks. That is how you play the game around here, new guy. All right, we are 2 ownership. If you feel like I'm going fast tonight, I am. I am going fast. Look at that. 529 people in here, 275 likes. That would be like, what, over 250 donkey dicks in here? What are we doing? I know I don't have that many haters in here. Hit the like, new guy. Okay, this is what we call the chalk report. Let me blow it up. Let me do this. Boom, 125%. Let's see if my big dome's in the way. All right. This is what we're going to go over. These are the highest owned players right here. I do ownership for everybody. You'll never meet anybody who does ownership and projections harder than I do. It's just what I do, right? And this is my ownership for this week. And I'm going to categorize all these guys into one of 3 things. Donkey chalk, which means if you play them, you're a huge donkey dick. Chalk, which means, they're getting a little high. I don't love it, but if you're going to play them, I get it. And then there's okay chalk. Guys that I don't even really consider chalk, but if you want to call that chalk, you go right on ahead, okay? So let's break these down. I'm going to walk you through what each one is and why they are, so that you can make informed decisions. And once again, if you don't play any donkey chalk this week, there's a very good chance you're going to go down in flames. The key is not to avoid all donkey chalk. The key is to know how to play it, who to play it with, and how to handle it correctly. That is how you play donkey chalk, all right? First up, old Ronnie Renow. Tony Finau up in the house. That was Scooby-Doo, by the way. Scooby-Doo, big Tony Finau fan. Can confirm. Tony Finau, 12,000, right? And I think his ownership would have been, I say suppressed. I thought he was going to be closer to 30, but because DraftKings introduced this new dynamic pricing this week, where they added a whole 5K range to it, it just makes paying up for Tony Finau so much better. Plus, his performance here at this course is basically God mode. And if you look at long-term form, he is definitively the best player on in this tournament, right? So he checks almost every box, except one box. He can't fucking putt. There's that. Let's not forget that one, right? So first up, Tony Finau coming in at 34%, head and shoulders above anybody else in the field. I actually think if in some of the single entry stuff tomorrow, some of the higher dollar stuff, I think you're going to safely see him over 40% in a lot of those contests. I know what I'm doing with old Ronnie Renow, but you got to ask yourself what you're going to do with him. But it doesn't matter. Regardless of what you do with him, the man is unequivocally, by definition, that man be. The man's donkey chalk, and we don't play donkey chalk. Especially when they putt like Helen Keller. We don't do that. I'm kidding. He's the best player in the field. Fading Tony Finau, you are playing with fire. Know that, right? He is donkey chalk. He is, by definition, donkey chalk. But let me just tell you, if you fade him, you're playing with fire. You can. Just be ready to go down in flames, all right? All right, moving on. Oh, Nikolai Hogard. A lot of ladies of the night in Mexico very relieved to know that the Hogard is in town to protect them. He is coming in currently at 29%, night and day above anybody else in this field, not named Tony Finau, right? And so with that, old Nikolai Hogard, I think you can see this one coming. I love you, big guy, but you, sir, are the definition of... The man's donkey chalk, and we don't play donkey chalk. That's gross. That is gross. I don't care how many hoes he's guarding this week. That's nasty. That's real nasty, right? And something tells me he might even get a little bit higher, right? Because, I mean, he's a good player. The guy's real good at golf. Real good. And he hits the ball real far. Moving on, we've got those Steven Yeager. Yeah, he's actually German, and he's here, 9,800. I can't believe Steven Yeager is not 10,000. And because of that, I actually think you're going to see his ownership get a little bit higher, but more on that in a minute, new guy. Steven Yeager coming in at 21%, really the last of there's really only 3 guys up in the 9,000 above range that are really cracking this 20% number. And because they're so much higher than almost everybody else up in that range, I'm left with no choice. You know I love you, Stevens. Yeah, I do. I love you very much, but I've got to be consistent. You, sir, you are. The man's donkey chalk, and we don't play donkey chalk. I'm sorry, guy in the back loves Steven Yeager. He loves Steven Yeager. He actually taught me the German accent. But I'm sorry, he's donkey chalk. That's donkey chalk. Okay, there's guys right around him that are legitimately 9%. I love Steven Yeager. Okay, I'll go do a Jaeger bomb tonight in honor of him. But he's out of control on his ownership relative to the people around him, and that is what chalk is. Chalk isn't the number that you are. It's what your number is, your ownership number relative to the people around you, new guy. Moving on, Davis Thompson and that big old cheesy-ass smile coming in at 18%, but notice, he's way down into the 8Ks. Matter of fact, he's really only the 8K guy getting any real steam. And so, it is with great sadness, because this was the very first guy I thought of. Oh, I play this guy all the time. I have a Davis Thompson problem. Okay, I'm actually in counseling. It's not something I'm comfortable talking about, but it is something I'm seeking help for, okay? I love Davis Thompson and his big cheesy-ass smile. And when I saw 8,900, I had about 5 seconds of hope that maybe, just maybe, he wouldn't get chalky, because I thought, maybe he's overpriced and not everybody will play, but I can still play him. Nope, that's not the case. As you can see, 18% would not surprise me if we see him climb to 20. You, sir, Davis Thompson, you know I love you, brother, but you, sir, are the definition of the man's donkey chalk, and we don't play donkey chalk. We don't do that, guys. We don't do that, especially when they've dicked us over 100 times. Davis, watching you, Davis. All right, next up, I think these next two guys we can kind of put in the same boat here. Pendrith and Keith Mitchell, they're not quite to that donkey chalk territory, right? They're not really getting up there where you're a real donkey dick if you play them, but at the same time, they're also not like you're pivoting either, right? These are guys that are a little high for their ownership relative to the people around them, but not high enough to classify them as donkey chalk. We have a special category for those guys. These guys are what we call a little high, right? But I think you can play these guys. The key is, if you want to play these guys who are kind of like on the upper end of this scale of ownership, then I think that you just want to be aware of who you're playing them with. If you don't want to start putting 4 or 5 donkey chalk / chalk guys in the same lineup, or you're going to get in very similar builds as everybody else, and that is what we want to avoid, right? So I think you just want to be aware. You don't get off of these guys because of that. If you love Taylor Pendrith, you still play Taylor Pendrith, right? I think you just don't probably play him with like Davis Thompson and Tony Finau and who the hell else ever you can fit in that slapdick lineup, okay? Moving on, Thomas Dietrich, 10,100, coming in at only about 15%, maybe 16 as you can see. I think that this, I don't even really call this chalk. This is just people in the industry not understanding the term. If you want to call it chalk, well, you don't understand the term. So we'll just agree on this. He's okay chalk, right? That's not even that bad. If you want to play Thomas Dietrich, you should be pumped that you're getting him at 15%, because we know one thing. In PGA DFS, people want to spend their salary. So guys that are 10,000 and above just inherently get ownership simply because people are spending their money, right? By the way, I'm looking over here on the side camera. Can you guys tell I got a new camera? Big guy looking sharp today. Looking real sharp. Handsome as a devil, might I add. Color looks good. Let's go. All right, sorry. Sometimes I get distracted by my own beauty. I'm working on it. All right, next up, Sam Stevens. 15% at 7,100. If you've watched this show more than once and you don't know what's coming right here, shame on you. Shame on you. Okay, when you get a guy down in the low 7Ks and they're over 10%, you should already know what they are. When they're damn near 15%, you got to know what they are. Sammy Stevens, you were one of the first guys I talked about. The model loves you. I pointed out on the Monday show with Tambo that he is underpriced, but it doesn't matter, because in the end, your ownership relative to everybody else around you is laughable. You, sir, are the definition of the man's donkey chalk, and we don't play donkey chalk, especially in the 7,000s. How many times do I have to tell you that not all chalk is created equally? Donkey dick chalk in the 7Ks will burn your nuts so much more than the top end chalk. Although I think Luke List, didn't I make it? I don't remember. Luke List, I think, did well, but he was 6Ks last week. Point remains. Sometimes they get there. You just got to, I would just encourage you to make a rule. Either always play it or don't. All right, next up, Michael Kim, 12.5%. Once again, I don't even really, it's kind of but you know what? I honestly think he's going to be closer to 10% because what you'll see as we get to the next couple things here, I think this man right here is just going to be, he's just okay chalk, right? Like, that's fine. 12%, if you like Michael Kim, you do not get off of him for 12%, right? And I honestly think you could even put him with guys like Tony Finau, and you're not going to be that out of line, right? Lastly, SH Kim. Yeah, you saw S Kim. You're like, oh shit, Siwoo's only 79. No. This is SH Kim, all right? SH Kim, he is Korean, so anytime there's a Korean guy, you do got to worry about him bitch quitting. But I will tell you, SH Kim is just like Siwoo Kim. There's good SH Kim and there's bad SH Kim. And if you get good SH Kim, you're going to be real happy. And if you don't, when you see he's 4 over through 6 tomorrow, just go ahead and close the app because that lineup is cooked, all right? I think him, just because he's down in the 7Ks, that's kind of a different threshold. So we're just going to kind of hedge here. We're just going to give him, I don't like it, a little high, but definitely not donkey chalk. There you go. That is the chalk report. As you can see, we have a lot of donkey chalk. And the reason why is this. I'll hit on this more in a minute. when I get to the DFS tip. But you got to remember, on weeks like this, I call these lazy weeks, right? Why are these lazy weeks? Well, one, a lot of the big people in the industry are taking the week off, so there's less voices out there. The other thing is the people that everybody's listening to are just regurgitating the same shit. You got to have good driving distance here. Right? You gotta have good content right here. Like, they're just gonna say the same shit, and people don't know half the guys in this field. So if you don't know half the guys in this field, you just listen to the fucking moron that you're listening to on your podcast, right? You're like, oh, he said this guy, you need to play him. So on lazy weeks, ownership pools. Remember that, okay? So you are going to see more condensed ownership this week than you would in a normal full field event, or a field that normally has a bunch of good players and not some of these slappies, right? That's just a good thing to remember. All right, but if I'm going to project ownership, people are going to watch the show. You're not the only one who's going to watch the show and be like, oh shit, he's that. I'm going to do this now, right? And so, ownership is a moving target. And it's not an easy one to hit. So tonight, after this show, not just my show, there's other shows that people watch. I assume, I don't even know what they are, but I assume there's other people watching shows out there. Some of these guys are going to steam up, right? They're going to get more popular tonight than my projected ownership has them. My projected ownership is their 50 percentile of what I think they'll be. There has to be a little bit of movement within that, and so I'm going to try to show you what the guys that I think will play more to the high end of their range of outcomes, and then I'll also do moonwalk, guys I think that will play to the lower end of their range of outcomes for ownership. Because to give you that number that I just showed you, that's their 50 percentile outcome. Tony Finau has about 3 or 4 points higher and 3 to 4 point lower in his ownership. That is his range of outcomes for his ownership, right? So I'm going to try to predict who's going to come in on the lower and higher ends of those range, right? And if all this is blowing your mind, well, then you probably don't want to make your own ownership because it'd be tough. All right. First up, Steam guys, all right? Steam guys are guys that I think are going to get steamed up. First up, we have... Who do we got here? Let me hit. There it is. The Hogard. This really reminds me of something. It was a couple weeks ago. Remember we had Scotty Scheffner and everyone's like, he's going to be like 40% owned, right? Oh, my God. And what ended up happening? We all checked Thursday morning, and who was it? It was Justin Thomas, who was like as high, if not higher than him in ownership. And I think you're going to see the same thing happen this week, right? Nikolai Højgaard, the Hogard, is a good player. Nikolai Højgaard is $1,300 cheaper than Finau, but here's the most important point I can give you. People are going to say, well, then fuck it. I'm not playing Finau. I'm going to get clever, and I'm going to take the ownership and price discount and just go play Højgaard. And you're going to have enough people doing that I think we're going to check in tomorrow, and the Højgaard is going to be over 30%. Everybody who thinks they're getting sneaky by playing Højgaard, you're not, pal. So when you check in tomorrow morning, I have a big feeling you're going to see Højgaard is going to not only be the second highest owned guy, I think he's going to be right on Tony Finau's ass for highest owned. So that guy is getting steamed up tonight. Feel it in me loins, boy. I can feel it in me loins. Next up, Steven Ziega. I just know this. People love Steven Ziega, yeah? He's just a good golfer, and he hits the ball far. All right, here's what you need to know about Steven Jaeger. He hits the ball a mile. People in this community love him, and he's underpriced. He's best by pricing at $9,800. And at some point, people are going to say, wait, why don't I just go play Steven Jaeger? Steven Jaeger is going to get steamed up tomorrow. I know this guy. I know this community. If Steven Jaeger's not 20% tomorrow, I will do a backflip, okay? I'll probably break my neck and die, but I will do a backflip because I am so sure he is going to get steamed up tonight. That 9,800 has a psychological effect on what people see. They see him as, oh shit, he's only 4 figures. That other guy's 10,100. I can't afford that. That's 5 figures. And he fits the narrative. What is the narrative this week? You have to bomb the hell out of it off tee and have good long irons. Steven Jaeger. And Steven Jaeger on my Rosetta Stone has the 3rd highest win equity. And if you don't know something, you need the winner of the tournament to win a GPP. So people are going to play Steven Jaeger. That man tonight, I promise you, is going to get steamed up. And the third Steam person is old Carl Yoon. Carl Yoon, I already have as the highest owned guy in all of the 5 and 6Ks, right? I have him, I believe, around 8%, okay? And you're like, that ain't that bad. Yes, it is. 8% in the 6Ks is disgusting. And I think he's going to be even higher than that. I think we check in tomorrow, and if I see 10 to 12%, it won't surprise me in the slightest. And why is that? Because Carl Yoon allows you to do so much with your lineup. If you want to go double stack Finau and Højgaard, you go throw Carl Yoon in there, it gets there. You want to go play Steven Jaeger and 2 other 9K guys, you go throw Carl Yoon in there, you still can build a very well-balanced lineup. And here's the whole thing. Carl Yoon's not even a punt. Carl Yoon is an actual real golfer. Like, we almost saw him win a tournament like a month ago. The guy is good at golf. The guy can play golf. I know he looks like he's 107, but he's not. He's in his prime, and he's good at golf. And I know this. People love a fucking value, and people love a Care Bear blanket at the bottom of their lineup to be like, oh, he makes me feel safe. And Carl Yoon will make people feel safe. That man is getting steamed up tonight. But if guys are steaming up, somebody's got to be moonwalking. Let's look at the guys that I think are going to moonwalk in ownership when we check in tomorrow morning. First up Eric Von Rooyen. Okay, here's the problem. I think Eric Von Rooyen is good at Showdown. He's not good a week long. I'll pass. I'm out like a fat kid in dodgeball, all right? EVR coming in at 9,500. I have him at like 12% right now. I think he's going to be damn near. I think he'll be single digits. I really do, because here's the problem. He's overpriced. EVR should not be 9,500 in this field. He should be like 8,700. And if I'm going to sit there and talk about how people love a value, let me go ahead and tell you what they hate. They hate overpaying. And EVR is overpaying. People are not lining up to play EVR. He is not necessarily a good course fit. So he is a guy that I think when we check in tomorrow morning, he will have moonwalk backwards. Next up, old Michael Kim. Michael Kim, I have it currently 12 or 13%, right? It was just on the other page, I think. And here's the problem. Michael Kim doesn't fit the narrative. And what have I told you this week? The narrative is going to dominate this week. This is what I call a lazy week. We've already seen DraftKings being lazy with the contest that they've put out. We've seen the content in this industry be lazy this week with people just regurgitating the same shit that everybody else says. And because of that, Michael Kim doesn't fit that narrative that everybody knows, right? People know. People may not know a lot about Michael Kim, but they know he sure as shit ain't a bomber, right? So Michael Kim does not fit the narrative. I cannot see him being a runaway donkey chalk guy. I think you're going to be surprised, and he is going to moonwalk backwards tomorrow. And the last guy that I think is going to moonwalk is going to be You'll Hut in Vegas, right? This is just one from me running my projections, okay? Jonathan Vegas does fit the narrative, right? He bombs the hell out of it. Jonathan Vegas is an elite off-the-tee player, right? Jonathan Vegas loves a resort course. He fits the narrative in those. But there's two problems. One, Jonathan Vegas has been playing like dog shit. Let's not forget that part, right? He's not exactly in great recent form. And the other thing I can tell you about Jonathan Vegas is I run projections. I have I don't want to say the best projections out there, but I have the best projections out there. And I know that people build a lot of lineups through optimizers. And if you are trusting projections and optimizers for your lineups this week, you ain't going to be getting much Johnny Vegas in your lineups, okay? So with that, I think you're going to see Jonathan Vegas come in surprisingly lower owned simply because of the poor recent form and the current projections. I think he will moonwalk backwards tomorrow. There you go. That is our steam and moonwalk, guys, which now brings us to the DFS tip. If I'm going to be that guy that doesn't give you my picks and plays, I might as well give you a little process tip to help you get a little bit better at the game. And I've already hinted at it, so I can keep this pretty brief, all right? Lazy weeks are times to pivot. This is what we call a lazy week. This whole community of PGA DFS content creators get lazy. They don't really push. They just say the same names, the same narrative, and everybody pulls around the same 8 to 10 guys. That's why the chalk is so damn chalky this week, because everybody just keeps saying the same damn names, right? And so, on a week like this, where everybody is saying the same names, and the average guy, the guy who is on his shitter tonight at 9 o'clock, the kids are finally in bed, time to take that shit you've been holding all day and build some lineups, what is he going to do? He is going to click on the guys that he's heard on podcasts this week, right? He listened to him on the way home. Oh, shit, got to play Davis Thompson, okay? I'm on the shitter. And those guys are going to get bumped up. So here's what I would tell you. I love Davis Thompson. I truly do. I love that man. His big old cheesy-ass smile. But the truth is he's literally the exact same golfer as every single guy around him. Every guy around him is 50 percentile, 50% to beat him. So if I can have those guys at 1/3 of his ownership, the sad reality is you should probably take those guys at every single time, right? These weeks like this, where the community is being lazy, this is the time to pivot, okay? Especially in that 8K, 7K, 6K range, because it's just the same people saying the same names, and the truth is those guys aren't really much better than the dudes around them. And what you want to do is, if you're ever going to live that pivot lifestyle, this is the week to do it. I'm not telling you to pivot everywhere, right? Tony Finau is the best player in this field. Højgaard is the second best player in this field. Those are facts. But when you get down into that 8K, 7K, 6K range, all those guys are the same. So when one guy's 20% and one guy's 5%, what the fuck are we doing? Live that pivot life if you're ever going to do it, and do it on weeks like this where the community is being lazy because nobody knows the names and the guy on the shitter doesn't know who the hell Callum Tarrant is, right? They don't know these names. They don't know frickin' Highsmith. They don't know these guys. They don't know Hoey. They don't know these guys. And so because of that, they are going to simply just go with what the person on the podcast said. So this is a great week to live that pivot life. That is your DFS tip. I don't encourage you to live that pivot life every week, but if you're ever going to try it, lazy weeks are the week to do it. All right, let's get over to the model, because if you don't know, the big guy believes in the model. The model is life. Here's a couple things I looked at. Driving distance, yes. It is. I do not think that you have to have great driving distance to be successful here, right? But I'll tell you this, it sure as shit doesn't hurt. Number 2, proximity over 200 yards. It is something like over 65% of your shots will come from 175 plus. So these two proximity ranges right here are nutted. There is going to be long iron and mid iron galore. If you don't hit these two well, probably tell them.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right, Paspalum. Who scores well on Paspalum course? If you don't know, Paspalum is very common grass type, not only for the greens, but for the fairways and the rough and everything on resort-style courses, usually in the tropic areas, right? Tropic of Cancer? Capricorn? I don't know. Moving on. Off the tee. Over 7,400-yard courses. Who's good at these longer courses off the tee? Basically, who's good at hitting driver-on-driver courses? Par 5 scoring on easy and average courses is one I want to know, because if you're not scoring on these par 5s, just go home. Go home. You're a loser. And last one, these greens, these Paspalum. We don't have enough data on who putts well on Paspalum, right? Because a lot of the Paspalum courses don't even have strokes gained putting. But what we can do is look at slow greens. Paspalum is notoriously a slow putting surface, and I love slow putting surfaces for bad putters. Bad putters tend to see the gap in their bad putting diminish on slower greens. So this is a week I want to know who putts well on those slow and average greens, because the shitty putters can just hit it as hard as they want and don't have to have those knee knockers coming back. All right? So, and here is the model. Just shocking! Absolutely shocking. I made a model. Tony Finau's number one in my model. A true genius of my time. How I do it, I'll never know. Tony Finau, the best player in the field, is number one in my model. Just shocking. Shocking. As you can see, really, a lot of the guys who are best in the model are not the highest salary guys. The only two guys up here that kind of look good in the model are the Hogard, who just bombs the shit out of the ball. Just to remind you, he's going to get steamed up. You heard it here first, all right? You're not getting tricky playing the Hogard, okay? Tony Finau looks good in the model, right? And who doesn't look good in the model? Griot, Thorbjørn Andersen. That's what you want the Swedish chef calls him. Oh, Thorbjørn Andersen. And Thomas Dietrich. None of those three look good in the model, and not surprising, those are the three that aren't getting the ownership, right? From there, you get down to this 9K range, and I think there's some really interesting guys here, right? Steven Ziego, we already talked about. The model loves him. I know he's going to get steamed. I know. I can feel it in my lines, boy. But let me just tell you about old loser piece of shit Patrick Rogers. I don't like the guy. Let me tell you a little secret. I actually did a little bit of research because I wanted to be fair. Over the past 7 years, Patrick Rogers, in every event he's played, has fucking sucked. That is something I made. That is the kind of research I do for you guys. But here's what I can tell you. Patrick Rogers, if there ever is a course that loser piece of shit can find success at, it is this. This is a resort course. This is the kind of course that he can do well at. And because he is overpriced relative to his recent form, I actually think that he is a guy that is going to kind of be a pretty valid pivot to play this week. Yes, he missed the cut last week, but that was because he lost his ball on the 36th hole to double bogey to miss the cut on the number. The most Patrick Rogers thing I've ever seen in my life. From there, Taylor Pendrith looks incredible on the model. I think Taylor Pendrith is a guy who is really trending, and I like Taylor Pendrith in fields that are full of shitty people. When you talk about the great pivot range, EVR, Hughes, Fox, Hisasune, Wu, Hubbard, not a soul's playing them. They're all getting squeezed. If you like any of these guys, get them in there. Or have a rotation of 2 or 3 of them and mix them in your lineups, because no one is playing these cats, right? Davis Thompson going to be popular, right? Doug Gim, I think is a viable pivot, right? Long courses, I like him at, but usually long, hard courses. Don't sleep on Jake Knapp, I'm telling you. Cam Champ bombs the ball, incredible course history. The model loves him, which is no surprise, seeing he's done so well here. I will tell you, with there being no rain, not a big fan of Pumpernickel this week, but him, Hoffman, Justin Suh, these become really interesting pivots. These are good guys, good players who are going to legitimately all be under 7% owned. You get down here, I think Michael Kim is one of those guys. I've already told you, I think he'll get knocked down a little bit. I think some of that ownership is going to go to Mav McNeely, the rich girl, Austin Eckroat, SH Kim. Some of these guys are going to get it. But if you want a guy that I'd rather pivot to in this range, just give me old Toasty. This guy has played here before. He played the amateur here. He bombs the living motherfather shit out of the ball. And the guy, I think, is a legit golfer. And he wears a Allen Iverson sleeve. And golfers who wear Allen Iverson sleeves, that is at least +1. At least +1 per round. Stroke gain. I've already told you, Jonathan Vegas is going to get some ownership. You can see he's actually number 2 in my model. Incredibly, he's top 7 in 5 different categories. Absolutely incredible. I'm just worried about his recent form and the fact that he's old and he sucks. From there, Vince Norman, the Viking. That's my Viking horn, if you're wondering what that was. I think he's a pretty good play. I think I'm surprised he hasn't gotten more steam. I'll say that. Carson Young looks very good in the model, but is getting steamed. But like outside of Carson Young, Goddard, and Stevens, there really starts to become like no one's playing Wallace, Stallings, Bjork, JJ Spawn, Sigleby low, Bobby Mack, Novak, Wu. There's all kinds of guys in this range that if you're not in love with a 7K chalk, get the hell off of it and just go consider these other dudes, right? From there, you get down into the 6Ks. I think you want to be a little bit more conservative. T-Dunks is a dude I love at showdown at courses like this. I don't know that I can play him at week long. Joseph, don't call me Joshua Bramlett, is another guy that I almost put on the Steam list. I have a feeling he will be double-digit owned tomorrow. You are not getting sneaky playing Joseph Bramlett. Gary Keego is underpriced, but he's also not playing well. Jacob Bridgman is a dude that I wasn't really on, but I've seen more than one place. The projections like him, and I've seen a couple shows talk him up. I think he is a guy that could get some love. The Cootie brothers. We've already seen Parker do well at Torrey Pines, so maybe he's a long course kind of guy, right? Who else do we got here? Old Matty Schmidt. There's your sleeper. You want a sleeper to consider? Matty Schmidt. If we're all going to play the Bombers, why don't you just go play the bomber that nobody's playing? Matty Schmidt. There you go. Guy bombs the shit out of it. He's good at 200-plus yard courses or 200-yard-plus shots. We've already talked about Carl Yoon. I think he's going to be an absolute ownership monster down here. I'm not kidding. I think he'll be 10 to 12% at 6,200. That is just laughable. And then you get down here, and this is where it really gets interesting, right? You get down into the 5Ks, which if you can find guys in the 5Ks and you're willing to put one of them in your lineup, it really allows you a lot of freedom with what you can do with the rest of your lineup. Norman Zhang, this community loves that slap dick for some reason. He is at 5,800. If you want to go back there, you want to be early to the party, I can confirm. Guy hits the ball real far. And Callum Tarrant seems to be the one guy that I think the majority of people are going to land on down here. I have him getting up to like 4 or 5%. And for a guy at 5,600, like that's quite a bit, right? And then, once you get down here, it gets, you got Hoey. Hey, I guess he's going to be safe with Nikolai in the field, am I right? Because he's a Hogard. And then Ben Taylor's the other guy down here that I think is an actual real golfer. I don't know that this is the best course fit for him, but I can tell you, he is a real golfer, right? You want to know the rest of my sleepers? Come on over to Ship It. I'll share them all there. But this brings me to the most important point of the show. Who is the one guy I am not playing? All right. Let me stretch. Big guy's got to get stretched. Let me get a little swig of the cold brew. Ooh, it's watered down, just like this guy that I'm going to fade. All right, here we go. The one guy that I'm not playing this week. I've had enough of this, right? Every week I keep getting bigger and bolder with the one guy I'm not playing, right? Last week I went with old Mora Flower. I told you he was a giant pile of shit. You're welcome, America. By the way, Will Baronosaurus. Da-da-da-da. Sorry, I do that every time I say his name now. The one guy I'm not playing, we're going big this week, all right? First of all, I didn't get I'm not going to be able to 150 max. I'm just going to play in, a bunch of high dollar, 2 and 3 max, 4 max stuff, single entries. And so because of that, I'm going to keep my player pool like a tiger. Tiger, huh? A tiger. Like Tony the Tigers. That's what you're saying there, boy. I see what you're doing. And so if I'm going to keep that player pool tight, and I'm going to want to play some chalk, well, then I can go ahead and tell you the one piece of chalk I'm definitely not playing is going to be the chalkiest of all the chalk. The one guy I'm playing because, fuck it, I'm ready to go down in flames. The one guy I am not playing this week, I'm not doing it. Tony Finau? Tell him, Paulie.
Get the fuck
We're not playing Tony Finau. That man is a donkey, and we're not playing him. I'll go down in flames. I know what I'm signing up for. I'm not trying to min cash, all right? I don't need to, I hope I get back $30 on my 50. I don't give a shit. I want to win first, or I want to get last. That's how I play GPPs. I am ready to go down in flames with old slapdick Tony Finau. But that leads us to the more important question. Who is the one guy I am playing? Well, the editor warned me that this video was standalone good, that I don't even need to talk over it. But you and I both know there ain't no chance that's happening. The one guy I'm playing this week, well, I'm going to go ahead and warn you. This guy's kind of a rebel. He's kind of an outlaw. He's not going to follow society's rules. And you're going to see the start of the video. You're going to think that it's Jake Knapp. It is not Jake Knapp. I do like Jake Knapp this week. Remember, do not sleep on Jake Knapp. But you also got to remember for the video, he's just the rookie, okay? The big reveal will happen later. Let's go see who is the one guy we're playing this week. Here we go. And start. Mother of God. Who is this one? Oh, look, I already got 3 guys in the back. Me and Jake Knapp already got 3 guys in jail. Who is this wild man not following society's rules? Oh, shit, it's Tambo. Look, that's Tambo. Probably ice fishing. Oh, he's got Hogard with him.
Good looking.
You know Tambo's playing Hogard. Tambo loves a Hogard. But my wild man, oh, it's not Hogard. I ain't playing that donkey chalk. I need somebody who can fuck Hogard up, all right? He ain't scared of Hogard. Take him out. Tambo's terrified, just heartbroken.
Let's go, 91.
Who is this wild man? This is a man who is a guy that doesn't follow society's rules. Golf says wear a hat. He says, no. I will wear a visor, unironically. He actually thinks it's cool. He is not afraid to take on the big names of this tournament. He is good at resort courses. He bombs the shit out of the ball. He is a guy who is slowly starting to get his form back. And when he's in good form, he ain't afraid of nothing. He's a guy that I think is going to win this tournament. Who is this? Who is this wild man? I know who it is. I know who it is. It's Keith fucking Mitchell. Keith Mitchell, we should have seen it coming. You got us, Keith. Look at that. Any man that wears a visor.
Because I knew it was you.
I knew it was him.
Oh, Thorny, don't lie in front of the rookie. It's such a bad example.
See, that's the rookie. Jake Knapp's the rookie. You get it?
When do I
Because
get
he's
to
a
do
rookie.
that? You get your chance, Rook. Shots?
Yeah. Anyways, hey, Tony. The schnozberries taste like schnozberries. Hey, that's what's wrong with his putting. Too much shrooms and schnozberries. Somebody needs to take these guys and show them what's up. And the guy who can do that is Keith Mitchell. Keith, you've already taken out Hogard. Go get these guys for me.
You boys like Mexico!
Oh, we do like Mexico, you motherfather. That's right. The one guy we're playing this week, a dude who wears a visor because he actually thinks it's cool. A true fucking madman. The one guy we're playing this week, we're playing Keith Mitchell. Yeah. Look at that mustache. Look at that mustache. By the way, I do not have a liter of cola. I do. No, hey, meow, what is so funny? Meow, what is so funny? All right, guys. That is the one guy I'm playing. Hey. You want to know about DGen 75? Here it is. It's called Ship It Nation. That's what it is now. Guys, I'm telling you, come over here. Go to right here. Go to Join the Nation. We have all these packages right here, right? And then you pick whatever one you want. I'd encourage you to get the annual. You go right there, and you come down here. For all of you that have ever been on the fence, you come right down here. You do have a code. You put in DGen 15, and you hit enter. And look, boom, code applied. There it is, 15% off. You can get an entire year for all the sports. You love me for PGA, college football, NFL. I'm still doing them all, you motherfather. But we have an entire team of sweaty tryhards who are doing NBA, MMA, NHL, MLB, NASCAR. Everything. We have it. You can get all of those sports, everything. My Rosetta Stone, me, everything I offer. Nothing has changed. You get it all for $5.09. I'm telling you want to come check it out. Oh, yeah. And I have the best tool in all of PGA DFS called the Rosetta Stone. I do this for week long. Round 1, round 2, round 3, and round 4 showdown. Has everything you need to know to make informed decisions. The Degenerate 75. Look at that. I need to sign in. All right here for you to look at. And once again, big shout out to my winner, DC, going 1, 2, 3 in the Sunday showdown. What a legend. Hoop winning the 555, Doink winning a seat, Mark winning a seat, Shaloub winning 10 grand, Title winning 2 grand. I mean, just look at all these members, just flying the flag, the Ship It Nation, just winners, all kinds of people. Tambo had to just settle for 60,000, T-Zone, AD Smith. I mean, just awesome week, man. First week, unbelievable. Let's get to the drawings now, and then we will get to questions. I see 627 people, only 410 likes. Editor, I need you to draw me, what would that be? 1, 2, 3 names over there. If we get to 500, we'll draw another one. This is for the $100 single entry. All you ones over here in the chat, you will be winning a $20 ticket that we will build together. And also, editor, draw one to play me for the F counter. This is for everybody who liked and retweeted over on Twitter. $100 single entry on Cat. He sponsored this. This is to build with me. I will split the profits with you 50-50. And the winner is Playmakers88. There you go. Reach out to me on Twitter because I'm like not famous and I like check my DMs and stuff. You don't have to like be on Discord to talk to me and stuff. So reach out to me. We will build our lineup together. There you go. Editor has started doing the draw. David Woods, I believe cousins with Tiger. I believe that is a cousin of Tiger. And let's see, Jay Steele, good people, know him personally. Jay Steele always bitches about never winning and then literally wins. What a dunk. Oh, we just have 4. And Johnny Hunter, look at that, a couple of legends there. And then for the F counter, editor, for the F counter, go ahead and reach out to me. And who is that? Who's the F counter? Who's the F counter? Oh, by the way, if you're ever the F counter, you simply just send me a 1v1. Jacob Olsen, there you go. Jacob, reach out to me. We will play for all of a lot of money in the F counter. Matter of fact, let's do a Lucy multiplier because I know I forgot one. That was for Lucy. So there you go. That is $48 in there. We will play for that money in there. And you just simply, Jacob, just send me a 1v1. We'll do it. Let's get to some questions. Let me get my model back up because the model is life. And if you need proof, Tony Finau's #1 in the model. So you like gotta play him and stuff. Or you don't. Or you don't, pal. All right. I think I saw some super chats. Am I like rich now? Am I not a poor now? Can I afford another year? Look at this. Could be Travis, not a poor. Just got started. 3rd warship today at work. Keeping building. This guy literally sits there and builds lineups and DMs me as he's putting together warships. Like up in a freaking tower. What a crazy man. And he just shipped like $100,000 like a couple months ago. What a legend. Okay, if I won $100,000, well, I probably would have jumped out of the thing. Got down on the battleship, just started just firing on nations. All right, give the guys back give the guy in the back a burger. You hear that? You're not getting a hot dog after the show. Nick said you get a burger this week, big guy. Oh, he can barely contain himself, Nick. He's really excited. Oh, really excited. All right, let's get to the chat. Oh, look at that. It's already started cutting off the chat. Look, if you guys ask your questions in the first 20 minutes of the video, I'm never going to answer it because it gets buried. It just gets buried, right? It gets buried like your chances if you play Donkey Chalk. Are you getting a hat combined with DGen and Ship It logo? I don't mind that actually, because that new logo that people have, I think it's right here, right? Yeah, you see he has. I have one right here. Can you see it? It's like it says Ship It Nation, but it has a little Showdown Hoedown. I kind of dig it, Bob. I kind of dig it. How do we get different in our female lineups? Yeah, we go watch that show that me and Tambo did today. Pat Mayo show. We did his show because Pat's out of town. Go watch that. I think we gave some really good ideas on how you can use female but still be different. Do you think PGS fields are getting sharper? If so, what are some ways? If so, any smart ways to refine our process? Yeah, I think here's a smart thing to do. Start seeing what people are trending towards doing. It used to be like in round 4 showdown, you always just never played the leader because everybody played him. And now there's been like this hard move where everybody's going away from playing the leader on Sunday. And so now maybe the move is you just go back to playing him. When the field starts zigging and zagging, I basically just do the opposite, because if I know anything, this community, when it does groupthink, is a bunch of fucking morons. All right, moving on. Let's see. How are we going to split the win weekend? How are we going to split the win the weekend, Bob? How are we going to split the win this weekend, Bob? 50-50, I assume is what you're asking. Does anybody in the 9K range have a chance to win this course? Yeah, Steven Ziego does. Yeah, I think so. Are you more likely to fade chalk this week because everyone sucks? Yeah, I really am. This is there's 2 chalk guys. I've pretty much convinced myself to play. The rest of them can kick rocks. Will the slow pass Pelham greens help Tony make 3-footers? Look, that's actually a really good question. And Tony has been putting very, very badly, and I think slow greens actually could help him out. Maybe he will hit his putts a little more forcibly, because when I watch him putt, I think that he's just trying to aim everything in instead of hitting the ball confidently with a stroke. Not that I'm, putting's the only part of my game I'm not horrific at, but that would be my assessment. I miss ranch water. When's it coming back? I'm done drinking, dude. Billy, you were there. You were there in Phoenix. The big guy's never drinking again. I may never recover from that trip. Let me get another drink of water. Goodness gracious. All right. How many people will play Jake Knapp? Heard his name before. Touted this week. Yeah, I would bet at least half the people that play Jake Knapp this week have never heard of him. I understand the process of the NFL games. Just what's the equivalent to the PGA process? I would say probably weather, playing like a weather narrative or a course fit narrative. Course history or recent form. Well, seeing they've only ever played this course twice, Dice Talk, I'd probably say recent form is probably the better way to go. How do I fly the flag? It's right over there. It's in the Ship It Nation Discord. We have them right there under announcements. Tambo posted them. Yep. Can I request you never use that grandma voice again? What are you talking about? I don't use no grandma voice. What the hell are you talking about? I didn't use it. Shut your mouth, Steven. Jesus. I don't even know what you're talking about, but that's my grandma voice. My buddy is Eric Barnes Caddy. Says he looks good this week. Any data on Barnes? I mean, we can look up Eric Barnes real quick. I mean, we got Caddy insight. That's what I'm trying to say. Who am I looking up? Eric Barnes, because they sort by first names over here, because of course they do. I mean, good at over 200 yards. I mean, look, he's not that bad. 6,100. I mean, I wish he were 6,900. You know what I'm saying? Birdie Fest this week? Definitely, Ron. I think it's going to be a real big Birdie Fest. That would be my guesstimation. Love Ship It. Joined last week. My girl Ashley, always supporting the cause. Doing the Lord's work out there, Ashley is. Anybody else drinking some space? I don't know what that's saying. Editor, there it goes. I am frozen. With the first few stars playing this week, maybe this is the week to play $20. Yes. Yeah, I mean, first few. Maybe this is the week to play. Yeah, the $20 is actually pretty good. I think that's why it filled up so fast. That, and they made it too small. I'm looking at you, DraftKings. Yeah, I know you're watching, see? I know you're watching. Do you have any pro tips for someone who is using the solver and looking to build 150 lineups? I do. I have an entire tutorial that we're about to put up over on the Ship It. It was over on my station. Now we're going to add it to Ship It. How are you treating your player pool that you didn't do the contest you wanted to? I'm going to shrink it down, Denny. Probably looking at about 10 to 12 players over 6 lineups is where I'm going to be. I'll probably play 6 of those guys in 2 of the lineups, and then probably another 4 to 6. I'll kind of one-off pieces in them, right, to make everything work. I have a lot of experience at kind of doing that. Like I've had weeks where I play 4 lineups, 5 lineups, 6 lineups, 100 lineups, 150 lineups. I kind of have all these different rules of when I'm playing so many lineups, I kind of know how I want my player pool to look like, right? That's just years and years of doing it. Is the short hitter or they could week guy? I think it's an or they could week guy. And I think short hitters are the or they could guys, right? I like McNeely this week. Am I crazy? No. I think McNeely's actually kind of getting his game back. I used to be a McNeely slut, and he's a rich girl. See Finau bounce back with the putter on these slower greens. I mean, that is the one narrative that scares me about fading Tony Finau. I actually am buying that narrative. If he's ever going to bounce back, you do it on slow pass Pelham greens. I'm buying that. What are the top 5 stats you would use to build a model? Well, it's right there on my screen, bro. Let's see. Joey Bramlett this week. I was in Dev until I saw how popular he was getting. Who's moonwalking? I mean, just watch the segment, bro. Have a little patience. It is a virtue. Jason, can we leave more salary on the table this week than usual? I think so, especially if you're not playing. Like, if you're willing to make the first guy in your lineup, Keith Mitchell, Steven Yeager, I think it's so easy to leave $1,000 on the table, right? But it's going to kind of come down. I wouldn't do it just to do it, though, right? Like if you get down to the last spot and you could get up to a $6,800 guy and you're spending $5,800 and it's a noticeably better golfer, I think I think that's a point of diminishing returns there. Is there a combined win equity or made cut that we should be shooting for? I think you always want to try to get above 12% win equity, right? And sometimes when you don't play Finau and Højgaard, that's going to be hard. It's going to be hard because they have such high win equity relative to everybody else in this tournament. Are the members' videos, aka Sleepers While I'm Sleeping, only on Ship It Now? That is correct. So get your ass over there. We have a code. I'm pretty sure, Caddy, you're one of my guys. We have a special code where whatever you were paying on my site, it's going to be cheaper over there just using my codes. And you get everything else. You're fucking welcome, pal. All right. With a weak field, is 3 to 4 donkey chalks okay? Yeah, exactly, Sean. I think as long as you pivot in at least 2 spots, pivots and or sleepers, I think you're going to be good there, right? You don't need a lot to make your lineup different. 2 guys under 5% or 3 guys under 10% will usually do it, right? Don't got to get carried away with it. Hey, big guy, think it's a good week to go strong on DB? Yeah, I actually do. There's 2 KFT guys I am definitely playing. 2 KFT guys I'm definitely playing. What do you think about Eckroat? I think I like him. Plus, he went to Oklahoma State, and we only produce the best players and stuff. Except me. I'm not a good golfer. Is the big guy wearing a moisture-wicking athletic material shirt to aid the sweaty tryhardness? That is correct, Johnny. You have to wear it. It wicks away the sweat because on this stream, the big guy goes, real hard. Have you ever heard of Fred Biondi? Yeah, he's beyond belief good. Beyond belief. Tambo, the guy in the back? No, it is not. Tambo's not the guy in the back. They do kind of look alike now that you mention it. Can we fade all the 10K guys in a single entry? Absolutely. I see a real path to doing it. I don't encourage you to do that, but I see a path to doing it because I like a lot of these guys in the 9K range. I ain't mind getting in bed with them. You know what I'm saying? All right, new guy. Which 2 of the donkey chalks are too chalk to pair together? Yeah, so that's a really great question. I'm going to take a second to answer that, right? I think a lot of people say, you can't put Finau and Højgaard together. Matter of fact, I think those 2 together will not be as common as you think because of just the price restriction of it. To me, the 2 guys I wouldn't want to be putting together would probably be Finau and Davis Thompson because I think that's going to be a logical second person in, or Finau and Sam Stevens. Those are the 2 that I think will be most strongly correlated simply because of the salary relief that they offer due to the expensive nature of Tony Finau. Also, Carl Yoon would be another one I think you're going to see in a lot of Tony Finau lineups, right? Who are the short hitters that you like this week? I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's plenty of short hitters I don't mind playing, right? Let's see. Let me find you a good short hitter that I don't mind playing. I play Cagely. Cagely on a birdie fest, I'm in. Sig, first round leader, if he plays in the morning, I'm in. I haven't even built my lineups yet, but if he's a morning guy, I'm in. Once again, Travis, thank you for the super chat, and thank you, Nick, for the super chat. You guys are out there just doing the Lord's work. Where do you see the winning score? Oh, that's a good question. I think -24. I think it'll be -24. That'd be my guess. Played 2 donkey chalks in a single entry. Okay, yep. It really is. Just you got to make a point to say, all right, where are my pivots and where are my low owned pieces in this lineup, right? No honorable mention chalk. Yeah, you have to take that up with the editor. He sets that whole thing up for me. I just show up and rock out with my cock hat. I don't really set up anything. Eric the Great this week, Mr. Barnes. Yeah, you're the second person to mention Eric Barnes. What is it? Are these his burner accounts or something? Any information on Mexican players, such as a local ringer? I don't have anything, right? But you could go with strokes gained, speak Spanish, and then Jonathan Vegas and Emiliano Grillo are just popping off the charts. 632 people were watching. Let's go collect. Thanks for pointing that out. You love to see it, right? People, no one's going to watch this week because no one's playing. It doesn't matter about the field. People just love PGA DFS. In the 3 to 4 guys in the 9Ks to start a lineup, giving up too much win equity. Okay, so you are giving up a lot of win equity, but guys like Yeager, Mitchell, Pendrith, those guys still have solid win equity themselves, so I don't mind that as much, right? Let's go for all-time record. 500 likes. I mean, I think we could get there. We're at 442. Still 540 people in here. 100 people in here haven't hit the like button. Dylan Wu, the real Wu this week. I mean, the narrative is this course is too long for him, but I can see that, bud. $5,100 Ben Taylor too crazy. I think he's kind of a good showdown play, Pentrini. That's what I would say. Chalkers while I'm chalky. Oh, Marie. I don't know what that is, but I kind of like that. Chalkers while I'm chalky. I kind of like that. The play on sleepers while I'm sleepy, I don't know you, Marie, but I like the ut of your jib. Are you worried about the Hogard running some local pimps? Yeah, I mean, I watched Sicario the other night, and I'm really worried for him. I am. They don't mess around down there. I assume this tournament's in Juarez. Whose optimizers are the most used? I don't really know. Only one I know is the Solver because that's who I partner with. I think they do a great job. Is there a AM wave edge? I don't think so. I mean, maybe that would be my tiebreaker, but I don't think there's an edge. I would be shocked if it's more than a quarter shot. Okay. Pentrini, that you're over 2 questions. You're fucking pushing your luck, pal. How much donkey chalk is too much donkey chalk? I would never have 3 of them in a lineup together. I don't mind 2 donkey chalks and an chalk guy, but 3 of them together, not great. Doherty at 5.1K. Shh. All right, Michael Kim. All right, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, this must have been when the video was going on. People were all over Keith. He unironically wears a visor. Visors in Vidorta. Ha ha ha. Ho ho ho. Look at that. Look at me. Look at that stash. I look good with that stash. How'd nobody point out how good I look with that stash? Let's see. Settle down, Meow. Meow, what is so funny? Am I bouncing around on Nimble Bimble? Am I drinking milk from a saucer? If you didn't watch that show back in college or whatever stage your life was at, every time you were drunk and or high, I weep for your childhood or your early adulthood, I guess I should say. Thoughts on Knapp? Don't sleep on him. Let's see. Man, all PGA DFS players on the show are jabronis. This is by far the greatest show on YouTube. Thank you, brother, for the greatest. Hey, that's not even a question, but I'm gonna allow it because you're being nice to me. Thank you for watching. Let's go. Try to. Hey, it amazes me how many people in this industry think that people just want to log on and see their fucking talking head just say the same shit every week. Okay, I don't know. Different strokes for different folks. All right. Nick says, if you want to play high-end donkey chalk, can I set a rule to play one guy under 6,900? Nice. To be different enough. Yeah, but you got to watch out, Nick, because there's some of those guys under 6,900 that are going to be logical falling places for a lot of guys, right? Bramlett, Carl Yoon, guys like that naturally come to mind as dudes who are going to fall into a lot of those Højgaard and Tony Finau lineups. So you got to be careful who you add down there to make sure that you're getting different with, right? So make sure that those guys you add are probably all under like 3 or 4% ownership is what I would say. Entering multiple 3 maxes. Do I use the same lineup for all or make 4 or 5 different lineups? Oh, so yeah, I like to mix and match, but I have a core, right? I would probably go like 3 guys in all those lineups, or 2 of those guys in those lineups. Make sure you're rotating them and getting them in at least 2 of the 3 lineups. That's how I like to do it. Will projections be on the DGen 75 through the end of the month for subscribers? And they're loaded. That's a good question, editor. I'm pretty sure they are, right? They should be. Yeah, as long as I imagine. Yeah. Yep. I don't know why you don't just come over to ship it and just get them over there. It's cheaper. Let's see. What else do we got? Goddard, a good pivot from Stevens? No, I think Goddard's going to get pretty chalky. I think you're going to see him. He was almost the guy that made the Steam list. Assuming similar price and ownership, how do you choose which player? I assume you mean assuming similar price and ownership. Yeah. So if there's similar price to similar ownership, maybe you can go look at course fit. Right? Maybe go try to find something in their modeling that kind of makes them stand out. Those are the kind of things I look at. Of course, always you want to look at weather, but I don't think there's going to be much of a weather edge. If there's slapdicks, maybe you lean to the PMAM guy, and I just like those guys more to make the cut. Or should I go full Wu-Tang Clan and roster Brandon and Dylan? I don't know about that. I don't know about that one, Bob. Recommended of the amount of players in the pool should 10 lineup build. If I were building 10 lineups, I'd be between 12 to 14 players. 12 to 14. Yep. And I would make sure I have every one of those guys in at least 3 lineups, right? Because if you have the one guy that goes ham, you don't want to just have him in one lineup and then you have to have the other 5 guys perfect, right? You might as well just play the single entry. Let's see. Don't call me Unit 91 radio. Do you need assistance? Do you need my assistance? I got a little caught up doing the repeater there. That'll happen. All right, par 5 on the 18th is apparently an easy birdie hole. Do you favor guys? Yeah, going off 10 for showdown probably is a slight edge, but I don't think it's much of one because the holes it connects to aren't exactly birdie holes, right? Any thoughts on Echeverria? I mean, I think he's a real golfer, and I'm going to assume he speaks Spanish. So that's a full stroke right there. Last question, Jeremy Young. What's an ideal total ownership? Jeremy, don't worry about cumulative ownership. Worry about product ownership. Product ownership is where you multiply the ownership of those guys, and you don't just simply add them, because you could have a high cumulative ownership and have a really unique lineup, right? If you have 3 guys in your lineup that are under 3% owned and you have them with 3 crazy chalky guys, your lineup is still going to be crazy different than if you just had 6 medium guys in there when it comes to ownership, right? All right, dudes, that's it. Huge crowd tonight. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making this the #1 stream and continuing to keep it as the #1 stream in PGA DFS. Come check us out at Ship It. Do not forget my code DJM15. I promise you something special is going on over there. Come join it. It is the best community out there with the best tools. Oh yeah, at the best price, because we believe in actually giving people a value. And most of all, people, please remember, as always, expensive tout sites are shady. That is rule 3080. Never forget it. We'll see you Friday night for round 3 Showdown Hoedown. But until then, let's celebrate another week of being #1. Let's hit a victory lap.
I'm so high.